Sometimes I'll have people comment that they were not allowed to use a calculator on the GED exam. Well, this is printed from the GED.com website. And it says, now I know there are 5 problems on there, 5 or 6, that are computation problems. And no, you cannot use a calculator on those. But on the biggest portion of the math, the other 40-something problems, you can use a calculator. But you can only use one kind, the TI-30XS. And this is what it looks like. And I'll try to put a link in the description to my Amazon store. So if you buy it through the link, I get a few cents. I have to say that. But anyway, the thing is, you don't need to get there in the test and start trying to figure out how to use the calculator. So I'm going to make a separate playlist for the calculator. But for this video, I want to go over some of the basic stuff. Now, whenever I turn the calculator on, the first thing I do is I hold down the on button and the clear button for 3 seconds. And then you see it comes up and it says memory cleared. All right, that means anything that you've put in there before, or if someone else was using the calculator, that's all cleared out. Okay, so you see all these buttons on your keyboard. You see one bright green button, and then you see some bright green words up here. If you press the bright green button, it accesses the functions in green. They do that so that they can give you twice the functions on your keyboard without having to make the keyboard twice as big. That's the whole purpose. So it's like a double keyboard. When you press second, you're getting the green things. All right. One button that nobody knows about too much for some reason, and then once they find it, they love it, is the insert delete button. Let's say you just pressed in a big number and you look back and say, oh, I didn't need that 8 right there. Well, instead of having to clear and start over, you can scroll back to the 8 and you can hit delete, and now it's gone. And then what if you say, oh, that was supposed to be 2 5s right there? Well, you can scroll over to where you want it, and you can hit the second insert button, and it lets you put another 5 in there. So that's just a time saver. Now let's look at fractions, because I know that is the dreaded thing for most people. And you don't have to do fractions on the GED if you have the calculator. It will do them. But you need to know how. All right, here are your fraction buttons. This N over D is a fraction. The green just above it, U N over D, that is your mixed number button. This button changes from fraction to mixed number, or mixed number to improper fraction. And this green button here changes from fraction to decimal, or decimal to fraction. So let's just try an example. If I want to add 2/3 plus 3/5, and there's 2 ways to enter a fraction. You can hit the fraction button, and it's going to give you a fraction to fill in the numerator and the denominator. Or you can hit your numerator first, then the fraction button, and you're already ready to go. That saves you a couple of keystrokes, which is very important in a timed test. All right, so we're going to do 3/5 the same way. I'm going to hit the 3 and then the fraction button and the 5. This is your scroll button. You can move around with it. All right, I just want to know what that is, so I'm going to hit enter. And you see it is 19/15. All right, that's an improper fraction. Well, what if the multiple choice answers are not in improper fractions? What if everything's in a mixed number? All right, you're going to hit the second button. Now, you come over here to where it's got the ND with the 2 little arrows and then the UND. That's going to put it up here, and you hit enter one time. Now, it changed it to mixed number. It will also go back. If I hit second and that button and enter, now you see it's improper. Okay, what if I want a decimal? All you have to do to get a decimal is hit this 2 arrow button right down here. Now see it's a decimal, back to a fraction. So that takes care of a ton of what most people are anxious about, and that's your fractions. Now let's try a mixed number problem. Let's do 2 1/5 plus 3 1/3. So to enter a mixed number, you're going to need this function up here above the fraction button. So yes, first let's hit the whole number. Do the 2. Now hit second and that fraction button, and you see it gives you a place to put your numerator. You scroll down and put your denominator. You scroll over and put your operation sign, whether it's plus, minus, multiply, divide. We're going to be plus. Then we're going to do it again. Hit your whole number. Second. Hit that button. Now you're ready to put the 1. Scroll down 3. Scroll over. Hit enter. And once again, you have the answer in improper form. So if I want to change this to a mixed number, I'm going to hit second and this button and enter again. So that's 5 8/15. If I want it in decimal, I hit that button, the 2 arrows, and it's 5.5. Okay? So you can see, you just need to know how to operate your calculator before you go in the test. So I'm going to start a whole playlist just for this calculator. So right before the test, you can, review and make sure you know how to do all the primary functions. Now, there are other things hidden in this calculator, like you hit mode and probability. There's a lot of things hidden in the menus that I will go over as well, but you probably won't need those for your GED.